I have a bone to pick with y'all. So, it has come to my attention that some of you think that my records are cheap, and to that I have to say, you're right. I am very stingy when it comes to record collecting. I only spend about $4 on average per album, maybe $8, and if I'm feeling really generous, I'll spend about $15. So, yeah, my records are cheap, and I love them, and they're great, and they're pretty standard, and I have no problem with that. So I wanted to walk you through a handful of my favorites and show you how little money you can spend when collecting records. So starting out, this was the first album I ever bought. This is Poems, Prayers, and Promises by John Denver. I got this album because I was obsessed with The Office at the time, and there's a scene where Dwight and Andy play Take Me Home, Country Roads, and I looked it up immediately after I saw the episode, and I found out it was by John Denver. Walked into the thrift store, saw John Denver album, and I was like, well, let's see what's on there, see if it's there, and there it is, first song on side 2. And so I grabbed this album, and then 3 feet to the left was a turntable, and that ended up being my first turntable. I only had it for a couple weeks, and it just almost immediately broke because, I mean, that's what happens when you spend $5 on a turntable, but the album still works, and I love it. The thrift store sadly has gone out of business because the owners embezzled money, and everything that was in that thrift store just got boarded up, and it's just still stuck in there like a mausoleum. But I walked away with a 35-cent John Denver album, and I'm very grateful. Great first album to start with, great place to start collecting from. I might have walked directly across the street to the Record Exchange and bought this that same day. I know it's from the store across the street, I just don't know exactly. Might have been that trip, might have been a little bit later. But it's Chuck Mangione's Feel So Good. So over the course of like the first year of record collecting, I came across about 15 copies of this album, and I bought all of them because they were all under $1, and I was just I got really weird about this album. It's like, let's see how many we can collect, and then later on, after about a year, one of my friends was like, you need to stop this. And so unfortunately I gave away all the other copies, but I kept the original. I know it's original because the price tag's still up here, and it's a great album. The title track of this album, it's very long, but it is an incredible song. So if you have a chance, check it out. All right, so next, it's called Half Price Books. It's like a consignment type store. Well, they'll buy your stuff for really cheap and then resell it for a lot of money. But they have a small record section, and it is just trash. Like, it's not organized, and there is just, you know how when you go to normal record stores, they'll have their overflow underneath on shelves? Like, there'll be nice displays of albums like upright, and then underneath there'll be like 1 or 2 shelves where they just have their overflow. Yeah, their record collection, their record section is just overflow, and it's not managed, and it's not sorted, and it's like shoved here and there. It's disgusting. And there's about a foot of space for people to walk around this island of records, and there's bookshelves all along the outer walls of this. So there's a lot of traffic, and there's no space. So what did I do? I plopped myself down in the middle, and I'm just pulling out chunks of albums and sifting through them, not finding anything, being in the way of everyone, until I came across Jay-Z's My First Song, which has the clean main and instrumental version on one side, and then 99 Problems, clean main and instrumental on the other side, for $1. And this was the first hip-hop album, I believe, that I ever owned, and I couldn't believe that I found something like this, because I didn't know research when I got into record collecting. I just kind of started picking up albums and seeing what I liked. And the idea that I could find what appeared to me as like discs that you would use to DJ, it was just a really novel idea, novel concept. I just never had thought that I could own one of these. And so it was just a really bizarre and wonderful experience, just being in the middle of this crowded room, being really excited about an album, and just being in the way. So next we have this really obscure album that I honestly hate, not only because it's the only album I've ever bought with my biological father, but it also is I just don't like it. And I bought it from a store that I don't really enjoy. It was this little consignment shop in the middle of nowhere, and they had really just junk. Just people would just dump things off and hope they would sell. and there was a little stack of records, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll look. And I looked and I found this, and at the time I was interested in sampling, because I was making beats on Fruity Loops, and I thought, well, maybe there's something interesting in here. It's a weird cover, there's no real descriptors. Yeah, I'll take a shot in the dark. So I took it up to the front counter, and there was no one there. I had not seen a single employee the entire time I was in the store. There was no one behind the counter, and so I just kind of stood there, and eventually someone just like poked their head out of the back, saw me, walked up like, ugh. And they're like, what can I do? And I had put this on the counter. I was like, I want to get that album. And they looked at it, they looked at me, and they're like, take it. So I got this album for free. Never turned out a free record, but I think this is the only album in this stack that I don't like. Speaking of the complete opposite of that, we have Magical Mystery Tour, which this is labeled used $1 record. I did not pay for this album either. This was also free. I helped a friend shoot a music video for his brother, and instead of paying me or giving me any type of credit in the video, they gave me this album, which, I don't know, it's a little disrespectful, but also really wonderful. Like, I enjoy this album. This is one of my favorite albums of all time, but also, I don't know. I don't think my work is worth $1. I don't know. Anywho, moving on. The next, I shouldn't sound ungrateful. I'm very grateful that I was gifted such an amazing album. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm just very grateful. I rescind my criticisms. Next up, we have In Rome in Love. Now, this is an interesting album. It's produced by Sears Golden Strings. I didn't notice this logo up in the top left corner, which is the Sears logo, and I just didn't put two and two together until I tried to look this up a few years ago, and I realized that there's really no information on this specific album. There's other albums in the series that have information online, but this one wasn't listed on Discogs. I found a copy for sale on eBay for like a couple bucks, and someone had put in the description of the eBay listing, I don't know anything about this album. If you know anything about it, please contact me. So this album just kind of seems like it just disappeared into the archives, and there's like one or two floating around, but there's no information, which is really interesting to me because it's a really wonderful album. It's like it says, Sears Golden Strings. It's all orchestral music, and it's very beautiful, and it's the kind of music that I would use to score a film if I was making a film at night in Europe. Like just someone walking the streets of Rome at night with the beautiful lights and the beautiful city, and just, I love it. It's great. It's a great album. One of the songs skips, but for 50 cents at a warehouse sale, not a big deal. Next up, this is also a Half Price Books album. I don't think it was the same trip as Jay-Z, but it might have been. Either way, in my younger years, I was very excited about Rhett and Link for a couple of weeks, the YouTubers, and I may have watched all of their videos in like a 2-week span and then just kind of dipped. But there was one video, I should say, where they talked about this specific record, and I remembered it when I was out looking, and I found it, and it was all about the inside photo of Lionel Richie lounging like this. And I don't remember what they did with this in the video, but I remember that's why I got it. Next, we have the swing era, the music of 1940 and 1941. This is a compilation. There's 3 discs in here, but not only are there records, but there's also a book in here. And this is entirely by the life and times, and I got this for $1. And it's just a really cool little time capsule. I don't think it's uncommon. I think I've seen a couple other copies of these online and in stores, but for $1, I was really excited when I found it. All these albums are super cheap, but they just mean a whole lot to me. And then lastly, this is a collection of 3 albums. This is Dylan, Bob Dylan's Greatest Hits, and Bob Dylan's Greatest Hits Volume 2. Now, I was driving around Ohio looking for garage sales when I was a sophomore or junior in high school. I was gonna try to make some money by flipping some stuff from garage sales, and I don't think I bought anything that I sold and made any money off of. But in my quest to find things that I could maybe resell, I happened to be going through this one garage sale, and there was a coffee table, and I went to open the drawer, and it was stuck, and I like jiggled it, and I wrestled with it, and I finally got it open, and these 3 albums had been stuffed in the drawer of the coffee table. And so I asked them if they were selling these, and they're like, yeah. So I paid $1 a piece, paid $3 for these albums. I know that these albums go like for $4 to $5 now. They're not like really expensive albums. They're not crazy rare finds, but that made me really happy. Like, that was just unforeseen. That wasn't something I was setting out to buy that day. There were no other records at any other garage sale that I'd gone to that day, and it was just, when you get albums that you aren't expecting to get, or when you get albums in a situation where you're not expecting to find albums, it's really exciting. Like, there's something just so wonderful about finding albums in obscure and weird ways. And that's what I love about record collecting. It's not about finding the most expensive things for the least amount of money. It's not about anything that you don't want to make it about. It can be anything you want. You can buy all brand new albums from FYE. You can buy only dollar store records. You can buy thrift store records. You can buy whatever you want. And dollar store records, I meant like dollar bin records. But yeah, it can be anything you want. There's no right or wrong way to collect records. You can do whatever you want with them. You can buy any genre. It's just fun. And that's why I love doing this. I love the thrill of it. It's exciting. It's new. And so, yeah, my stuff is cheap, but who cares? It's my stuff. Yeah, but that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch more, there's a video I think you'll like. Here's one that YouTube thinks you'll like. I have a Patreon that's $1 if you want to have access to my list of records. There's like 500 and some records at this point, but they're all available, and it's always up to date, and you have access to it 24/7. And other than that, just have a great day.